Promotion is live. Hello and welcome to Eclipse Pro Wrestling. Back again with myself, David Scheller, and joined by none other than the premier commentator, Stephen Anderson. I am excellent. Glad to be here in Florence, Italia, or Italy for the common folk. So, indeed. Of course, we have to head to our opening matchup, none other than the debuting AG, facing off with Daniel Cole, the Blackout. Indeed, it'd be very interesting to see what AG has to offer. Of course, catching Power Hour when the match card was released, we had none other than Cruz tipping that AG might be able to upset Blackout.
We will see. I mean, look, that is going to be an uphill battle, I think. As you mentioned, it would be an upset, so time will tell. I won't put it past him, but like I said, he's going up against a momentous run that Daniel Cole has been on.
Brimming with confidence, AG, as he comes down to the ring.
Yeah, he's looking like, he's looking confident. Then that's not a bad strategy considering the fact that, I mean, you want to have mind over matter if you can, in this situation. Like I said earlier, he's going up against Daniel Cole, who's had a good momentous run since we kicked off here at Eclipse Pro. So, it would be a very big win for AG here, excuse me.
Indeed. Although, we haven't spoken too much about Blackout's mental game, but it does have to come into it at some point. What are your thoughts on the psychological pressure that the Blackout brings to his matches?
I mean, I think that's you can see that pressure definitely, I think, in some cases has a very positive role on how he reacts to that. Actions speak louder than words. And obviously he's doing something right to get to where he's been at this point.
Indeed, and now the aforementioned Blackout making his way to the ring.
Here we go.
Seems to be pulling a prank on the stage smoke guy as keeps smoking up that ring, but keeps coming from the crowd.
Yeah, we were talking about that the last time we saw him. That, he's... I know him for coming out of Goldberg's entrance, or Goldberg's locker. That has not been the case. And it makes you wonder what's going on. To your point earlier, what's going on in the head of Daniel Cole?
Kinda seems like an attempt at misdirection.
Could all be a series of mind games for all we know. He could, know exactly what he's doing.
Everybody for tuning in tonight. Of course, this is our pre-PPV show. New Moon is tomorrow. All the champions will be crowned.
It's going to be one great weekend of action here at Eclipse Pro Wrestling. definitely want to piggyback on what you're saying. Thank everybody for joining. Looking forward to tonight and tomorrow's action.
Indeed, should be a huge night for Eclipse Pro. Nothing like an inaugural pay-per-view.
And it's been, you know, it's been a great journey between the beginning, the inception of Eclipse Pro Wrestling, and where we are right now. You know, looking at my calendar, you know, we were launched back in September, early September, September 1st, I believe. You know, so to get from there to where we are now, it's been a great build-up. January. I was reading the calendar backwards. Don't you love
launching
how
on the
does
9th of January, not the
yeah.
1st of September. Of course, that's a classic miscommunication, as myself coming from Australia, not unlike the Blackout, but calendar's going backwards. Ooh, a brutal knee strike there. Seemed to do a bit of damage to AJ himself, though.
Yeah, it looked like he hurt himself a little bit after that. I mean, it affects his ability to kind of properly maneuver himself afterwards.
Big risk going for a knee strike on someone that's prominent in the Muay Thai striking style. Gotta wonder if it's some mind games of his own.
I mean, I suspect that. I suspect some kind of mind games here, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that, you know, he's been very successful under the pressure that he's been under. The changes in kind of his persona coming into the ring, you know, that we mentioned earlier. I don't know. But like I said, as long as he keeps doing whatever is going on upstairs in his head, I think he's on a good warpath.
Ooh, bit of a miscommunication there by AJ, coming off the turnbuckles now, getting right into the kick, and now a snap German, resulting in a 1 count.
Good to at least get that attempt in, but not going to be anywhere near close enough for even a 2 count, like you said. Blackout. And AJ, this is going really back and forth, honestly, don't you think? I mean, it's definitely not been controlled by one or the other per se. It's been very dynamic.
AJ setting up for something here. It looks like sweet chin music. Whoa! Blackout able to dodge out of the way.
Well, you know the expression, the right place at the right time. He found himself in the right place at the right time, and it was out of the path of that kick that was coming for him, and it's worked in his favor here.
Oh no, I think he could be setting up for something as well. Oh no. Got a superplex to the outside attempt maybe. Oh, he's setting him up, and missed the commentary tables by that much. Send help to our Spanish announce team lest they continue on the outside there.
Yep, that was so close, and they're getting ready to get out of the way.
Wait, that's Daniel Bryan?
What? Are you serious?
Daniel Bryan's making his way.
Are you serious right now? Uh-oh.
Hey, AJ enlisting the veterans' help potentially. What's got Daniel Bryan coming down to the ring?
I am intrigued. I am curious. One begs the question, why? What is the motivation? What is the method to the madness?
Kick sends Daniel back to the back. Thankfully, not trying to interfere in the match any further.
Huh. Well, that just thickens the plot, if you will, when it comes to what's going on with Daniel Cole. Definitely out of the realm of reason to see that. I want to know why. I want to know what the method to the madness is, what the inspiration was for that.
Certainly. Didn't seem to be nefarious by any means, but
No, exactly.
Intriguing to say the least.
Definitely makes you wonder. It's a head scratcher, like you said. It wasn't Farius. It was just, there's more questions than answers, isn't there, David?
Indeed.
I got to tell you, though, this has been one hell of an opening match here tonight. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in.
Indeed, just about to come up to the 10th minute of this match. Of course, no time limits here in Eclipse Pro. The match goes to the fall.
I like it that way. Go until there's a winner, a victor, a fall, or a submission.
Jesus. 3 cutters now.
How many is the magic number?
Blackout kicked out.
Oh, you have got to be kidding me. Wow. I really thought that was it. People are on their feet here in Florence, Italy. Oh.
Jesus, another 2 count on the Blackout. AG's bringing all of it and then some here tonight.
Staying on top of him. This has been a really good, really dominant drive for AG, and if he can keep it going, but he's gonna have to stay on top of Cole.
The top rope again.
Wow. Hey, you know what? Repetition is key. And you know what? We've already seen in this match that that repetition has. Oh no!
Another the trading power slam.
This has been one hell of a match, I gotta say. The fact that Cole is moving as well as he is right now, it's beyond the realm of reason and understanding after taking all those cutters.
I was gonna say, especially after, I was gonna say that AG has been known to use that cutter to devastating effect, with the Blackout not even staying down for 3 of them.
You know, some people are that way, you know. I mean, I call them masochists, other people call them something else, but it could be that Daniel Cole has that masochism in him where it's kind of like he embraces the pain. It sort of gives him a second wind, if you will. I mean, it's like people who work out and get the runner's high, you know?
Oh! Daniel Cole with a cutter of his own.
That's one way to do it. Just, there's your receipt.
Indeed. Now locking in that Blackout choke.
Deadly maneuver. Oh, God.
I think he just got the ropes there.
I was going to say, the ring position, not as ideal as you'd want it to be. I couldn't make the connection if he actually got to the rope or not. But definitely saw him struggling there.
For the break there.
Wow. Cole just...
Oh no, we've seen this before. I think he's setting up for the O'Connor roll suplex.
Here we go. Definitely, like you said, seen it before. Very beautiful. Very well done.
Looking for a dead center. No escape here. That Blackout choke.
God, that is brutal. Brutal submission hold.
He has no choice but to tap out. Daniel Cole notches number 5.
Wow, congratulations. Let me tell you, like I said, he's been on a warpath, and it's got an upward trajectory as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, whatever the hell's going on in the ring, out of the ring, in his head, out of his head. It's working for him.
Jesus. Trading cutters, trading power slams.
That was a great match. Very back and forth.
The only edge that Daniel Cole seemed to have was that submission game.
Yeah,
Shoot
because
across the
AG
ropes
was
on the
coming in
first
there
attempt, and
very
then
aggressively.
locking it in at the end. Jesus, what an opening matchup as we head into our next match. Of course, now we see Scott Storm versus the Wrecker.
Going to be an interesting match here. The Wrecker is a beast. I mean, an absolute beast. But I believe we were talking about Scott Storm just a week or so ago. I think this is going to be a really interesting match. It's going to be really compelling to see how these two go tit for tat against each other in the ring here coming up.
Indeed, of course. Scott Storm and the Wrecker both sat under the learning tree of Dr. Skull. A lot of bad blood between these two.
Yeah,
Scott Storm.
There's always that
himself tonight.
Exactly that. Yes, indeed. They're the same. I mean, they both were under Skull, so it's kind of like having a brother. It's you're always trying to outdo the other. At least that's how I am with mine.
Indeed, all about the competition here. One will have no other choice but to lay down for the other by the end of this match. Unless it goes to a count out, but I don't suspect that either of these men will let it end that way.
I was gonna say I don't see that happening at all. That would be a shock to me. I don't see them having that end that way either. And I think that they both wouldn't want it to end that way, just knowing how each of these competitors are mentally.
Oh, the Wrecker taking a page out of evil Dr. Skull's handbook.
Yep, coming in preemptively from behind. Wow. I'm always impressed with the physical prowess and the size of Thunder.
Wrecker was on one knee, and Storm was still at about his height.
Exactly. Exactly, right? And that says a lot about his size when you're talking about Scott Storm being right there in front of him, and he's on his knees. It's just like almost just as tall. Oh, God.
Storm using that sledgehammer, knowing he needs to start the match officially before it is called off.
Might as well get that equalization in now while you got the opportunity. To your point, the bell hasn't rung yet. There we go.
Oh, Scott Storm going 10 foot up in the air and then 10 foot down again.
Can you imagine that directly on your back, too?
Oh, and again. Wrecker's on the warpath here tonight.
I mean, look at that. I mean, you see the way that he just tosses Scott Storm around like that twice back-to-back earlier. I mean, it's impressive. The size is just absolutely... His ability to move at that size is very impressive, let me say that.
Kind of amazing to even see Scott Storm be able to handle that size of a man.
Yeah, to this point, Storm is Obviously not in a currently likable situation, but he's holding his own as best as he can. That was beautiful right there.
Lifting up the behemoth that is the Wrecker.
Yeah, that's absolutely impressive. That's like jaw-dropping.
Oh no. And again, with an assisted vertical suplex. Jesus.
I have to laugh because I saw that headbutt, and I know it was a headbutt, but I don't know if it landed in his head or if it landed like in his upper torso.
Yeah, no, he's trying to headbutt his abs. Seems that's the only...
My God.
If I was Scott Storm, I'd be looking to take out the base of the big man, doing it quickly. I know he's going blow for blow at the moment, but there's only so long that can... Oh,
God.
Huge chop block there.
Oh. Yeah, to your point, there's only so much gas in the tank, right? There's only so much you're going to be able to absorb, so much pain you're going to be able to withstand and endure. It's only a matter. It's a matter of, you know, if, or you know, or a matter of when, not if.
Seems like Storm has really been going for the chop blocks there.
I mean, to your point earlier, I'm impressed with both these men already, but in this matchup, I mean, both of them have built even more credibility, and that says a lot. But just the way that they're both handling each other, especially Scott Storm.
A 10-foot knee gutbuster. Oh, I can. Oh. Both of these men are going to be not only the wrecker, but wrecked after this match.
Yeah, no pun intended, right? Absolutely, I agree with you. My God, those clotheslines are just brutal. A whole arm going across the entire torso of Scott Storm.
Locking in some kind of dragon sleeper. That's trying to weaken the big man, take him down. Although Wrecker able to maneuver out of it.
I mean, he's got his size to his advantage. I mean, there you go, right there. He uses his own weight in his favor to escape from that maneuver right there. I thought he was going to use his height to maybe get to the ropes, but that was still brilliant.
And just that body press as it goes over would be insane.
Not a bad idea for him to step out and come back in, but he did not. It did not work out for him, did it, right? He was met with a series of lariats and then got cut open there. Very good back and forth, though, between the Wrecker and Scott Storm here. I mean, really, you can see, to your point earlier, David, that they are, you know, they learned under Skull. The work, you know, so you can see that there in both of them.
Oh, I'm just tossing Storm. The first pinfall attempt.
That's a surprise.
Not even getting a 1 count. Storm just pushing him off.
Yeah, Scott Storm is definitely showcasing in this match his ability to withstand a lot. And actually do a lot also at the same time, right? So.
Oh no, air raid crash. And down.
My goodness, how much more?
Neither man wants to stay down for long.
But that's the point. I mean, both men have the will of a champion, right? So, having learned under Skull, in my opinion, I think that's a fair statement to make. So, you know, neither one of these guys has the will to give up. That's how they're trained. That's how they're operated. That's how their mind works.
Oh no, seeing some sort of dive to... Oh, over the top rope to the outside. Yikes. That's not really normally in Scott Storm's wheelhouse, but here he is pulling out all the stops.
It's definitely not a normal move in his repertoire, if you will, but I agree with you. But when you also take into account the size difference between the two, Use every equalizer that you can. We saw him do that at the beginning of the match earlier with the sledgehammer. Do whatever you got to do to get the W. I respect that. Wow. This is unbelievable, these two. Tearing each other apart. Really good back and forth. Both men taking a lot of serious high risk and high impact maneuvering, but still being able to bounce back and dish it out.
Bad intentions.
You're right. You're right. It was only a matter of time. I knew it, or I mean, it was like foreshadowing almost like earlier.
Oh. Straight through the table.
I knew it. It was only a matter of time.
I don't think he has any idea where he is now.
Could that be enough? The problem is that he's outside. You got to get him in the ring.
The record bleeding under all that.
There you can see it over his eye there, his right eye. I mean, even though he's got that
deadly leg drop, Wrecker could be putting the final mark on this match.
The nail in the coffin. I mean,
God damn.
Wow.
The Wrecker, with that leg drop, puts the match away.
Makes complete sense to me. You know, Scott Storm, I think, exceeded my expectations. I mean, surviving that long and being able to fight as well as he did. I mean, we saw in the beginning of the match him picking up the Wrecker, you know, so there was a good back and forth between those two. It was a good match.
They're bleeding, as you can see. Maybe just expending the last too much energy in that table down, and instead just slipping as he tried to get back into the ring, allowing for the leg drop, and all she wrote.
This is going to be fun.
Now we head to our third match, where The Miz takes on Esselmania. Both men looking for their first win here in Eclipse.
Yeah, Esselmania's had, I think, a tough challenge. You know, we saw him versus CM Punk a couple of weeks ago. You know, he hasn't had a lot of success up to this point. Like you said, looking for that first W. Miz too. So I think that's what part of that's what's going to make this match so great. They both have something very strong to prove.
Indeed.
I mean, one of these two men will remain on a losing streak pretty much. That's a fact.
Esselmania facing... I'd actually have to say that this is probably his biggest potential to date, facing off with CM Punk in his debut, and then being robbed by Tonga in his second match.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate situation because that was a great outing by Esselmania. For those who watched that match, for those who didn't, you can always watch the replays on YouTube. But yeah, that was an unfortunate scenario for Esselmania because I think he could have come out with a victory in that match had that not happened.
Indeed. The Miz making his way to the ring, all bravado, as only the Miz can be. But will this match be awesome? Or will it be the beginning of the Essel era?
That's a good question. I think as far as the Miz is concerned, it will be awesome. I think regardless of who comes out victorious, it's going to be an awesome match. I think we can all agree on that. Both these men, like you said, one of them is going to get a W, one of them is going to get a loss, and one of those two people is going to remain on a losing streak as a result. So lots of proving here, a lot of proving ground.
Of course, Essel actually studying under the learning tree of none other than Cornet. So it will be very interesting to see how that old school mentality levels up.
Yeah, you know, it's a completely different mindset. Not necessarily a bad one, but it's a different approach, isn't it, David?
Of course. Eclipse Pro is the melting pot of all things wrestling. All styles are welcomed. Nothing is prohibited as we try to give the best showcase of the industry that we love, wrestling.
I like the way that you put it. Melting pot, definitely a great way to describe it. Just having the diverse backgrounds of styles, culture, and ability, and the competition is definitely top notch here at Eclipse Pro Wrestling. You know, coming in here, maybe it's just me having, you know, watched all the shows, you know, I'm just thinking back. You know, part of me thinks that, at least the way I see Esselmania right now, is that I think he wants this more. I mean, maybe I'm being blinded by Miz's arrogance, his typical arrogance. But I'm also thinking about how Esselmania basically got screwed out of his last match.
Damn, being hit with a skull crusher finale, second move out of the gate.
That's really a way to show up to the fight, right? Guns blazing.
Indeed.
If he can stay on top of him, the longer the better. Wear him down. Like I said, arrogance can be a weapon. I mean, especially, you know, arrogance might not be necessarily arrogance if you can follow through. Miz is kind of that class and caliber of competitor. Esselmania doing a good job, though. Oh, God.
Wrenched with the arm. Yeah, straight into the armbar. Fujiwara style. Fujiwara. Sorry, how's the pronounce again? Fujiwara. Fujiwara armbar. Yeah, I was going to say, I look it up almost every time and have to hear it. I can't pronounce properly, at least. Apologies on the temporal stutter there. At least I don't. I struggle a lot less with the Japanese styles than some of the European / sort of Australasian influence styles. I'm not sure where Fujiwara actually comes from.
Yeah. Good back and oh God, I was about to almost say good back and forth there, but it looks like Esselmania is doing a really good job, as I mentioned, staying aggressively on top and consistent with the Miz here.
Indeed. Miz, I'm not sure why he was ranting and raving at the beginning, but it certainly seems to have cost him.
Well, there's definitely still opportunity for him for things to change in his direction, but not if Esselmania continues at this on this path. I mean, this has been a great outing for him. Like I said, being very aggressive, staying on top of him, outmaneuvering him, being one step ahead of him.
Jeez, the cloverleaf attempt there.
Yes, those
Miz
glasses.
potentially with a chance to get on top. Indeed, still wearing them goddamn glasses.
They resemble, they remind me of the old school Bret Hart glasses.
Oh jeez, the Miz leaping on top of Esselmania.
Well, that's what, you know, I was just sort of waiting for this anger, or maybe you want to even call it embarrassment, come out from the Miz and show it in force, try to attack Esselmania the way that he did there, but not paying off for him in the long run. I mean, Esselmania is just a step ahead of the Miz so far in this game tonight, or in this match.
Indeed, of course, Essel with a lot more to prove here tonight after a good sported outing against CM Punk and then being robbed once to have a legitimate win.
I'll tell you what, the Miz is looking definitely out of form, at least what we would expect from somebody like him. But hey, you know what? He's been on a losing streak too. So it's just a matter of who's going to be able to continuously stay on track, and that's been Esselmania up to this point.
I know, looking for that figure 4 sharpshooter. Esselmania's got it locked. Miz has no choice but to tap.
Yeah.
That was a quick tap as well.
Well, you know, I mean, Esselmania was on top of, you know, stayed on top of the Miz the entire match. It was a very good outing from Esselmania, and once he got that locked in, it was enough. I mean, the Miz had already experienced and endured enough pain. Love to see a properly applied submission maneuver, especially like that.
Very good to see submission finishes coming back into the forefront. 2 submission victories on this card so far.
Yep.
So
I definitely agree with you. You'll love to see it. I think it's more strategic, and especially with the way that match went, I think it was the appropriate route to go. Easier to get a submission and a pinfall out of the Miz in this situation.
indeed. Maybe even a point of embarrassment as well.
Yeah.
Because his use of the figure 4 leg lock.
Yeah. I got the vibe of embarrassment from him.
For the first time in a while, the many-faced heel is actually allowed back in the building, as he will be addressing Killer Cross ahead of their Extreme Rules matchup on pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's been, geez, how many weeks has it been now, David, that he's been not allowed to be backstage or at any of the shows? I mean...
both previous weeks they were not allowed, and then they traded the 2 weeks beforehand.
Wow. Feels a lot longer than that. I don't know what happens to the time.
Well, it is a whole month, so it does feel like a while.
Yeah, I know. It's a short month, so...
Of course, heading towards our first pay-per-view. We'll be looking to expand in the future, of course. Always looking for new talent. I'm sure the owner is currently in talks with a handful of the hottest free agents in the world, some being teased. But I have heard that the tag division is in for a shake-up come the end of Blood a New Moon.
That is going to be interesting to see. The tag team division here at Eclipse Pro Wrestling, I was talking about it last week, is arguably the best division in Eclipse Pro Wrestling right now. I am biased because tag team wrestling happens to be my favorite, but I think that one can make that argument. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Indeed. Last week's main event was spectacular.
It definitely was. Definitely a way to end the night. Definitely I felt like it was beyond main event caliber. I thought it was like pay-per-view main event caliber with all the action.
Manifest Heel calling out Killer Cross now. Not just addressing him, wants to see him face to face.
He's pissed. You can just
not
tell.
Happy in the slightest.
He's pissed. You can see it clearly in his body language. I don't blame him. You know, to your point,
Quite
David, we haven't been able to see him.
Say Manifest Heel in comparison to Killer Cross. Killer Cross always known as quite a confronting figure, but here we are.
It just happens to be that the roads have led to this point between these two. And I understand the frustration of Many-Faced Heel. You know, first time being back in the arena in a month, so I understand that frustration. Not being able to do something about something that involves you, it's extremely frustrating.
I would not be surprised if we see the two of these guys just knock the daylights out of each other here in a moment.
I would expect nothing less out of the two. Both men in great physical condition, and very great competitively in the ring. It'd be great to see these two go at it.
Oh, laying down the punches on Manifest Heel there.
And let him fire first. I understand it. You know, he's got every reason to be upset.
Referees do not bother. I don't want you to get harmed in the middle of this brawl. These two will brawl all the way into them tomorrow, I guarantee it, if allowed.
I was going to say, you're not going to need one ref. You're going to need the whole locker room of refs to try to break this up in reality. There's too much angst. Great back and forth, though, between Many-Faced Heel. Oh, God.
Many-Faced Heel getting the final word in there before a referee with the balls comes in. These two, of course, will be separated now and sent back separately so that business can continue. But we do have plenty more action on the way with our first and only tag team match on the card tonight. The Young Bucks facing off with Silhouettes of Redemption.
This is going to be a fun match. Silhouettes of Redemption have every reason to be pissed off right now. They've had nothing but a series, and this is just par for the course for them. They've had a series of uphill battles as they came out into Eclipse Pro Wrestling, and they won those battles. And personally, I thought they were a favorite for last week's main event, that four-way tag team elimination. So I imagine that they have a lot to be upset about. The Young Bucks should probably be aware of that.
Indeed. Of course, both these teams did not qualify in the main event last week, but have still a lot to give. And I wonder if there'd be any changes to the game plan compared to last week.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, given the fact that last week's main event that we're referring to was a four-way tag elimination, you know, we saw individual members of a team get eliminated one by one, but that didn't eliminate the entire team. You had to eliminate both members. So this is a standard tag team match. Still going to be action-packed, but definitely a different strategy, I would think.
Indeed. Of course, Silhouettes of Redemption had some choice comments backstage after the match. I wasn't able to catch all of it as I did not want to be in the same room as them for my personal health, but it was something to the effect of no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah, I mean, I had heard that there was, that it was pretty crazy backstage. I wouldn't want to be back there either. Again, for your personal health is absolutely right. This could be the thorn in their side that they needed to change their direction and get them moving to where they want to be.
The Young Bucks representing all of their history on their jackets.
Gotta love that. They've been all over the place. They've been all over the world. They've wrestled in Mexico, the United States, Japan, London. I'm sorry, Europe.
Can you stop me?
Very flashy. At least maybe it's the brightness that I'm looking at, that I'm referring to.
It's quite interesting, as it doesn't seem to really have much cohesion between all the different branches of the Bullet Club that exist in Eclipse Pro. But here come the Silhouettes of Redemption, looking for redemption here tonight to avenge their only loss.
Yeah, and again, that main event last week was a barn burner. It was a real shit show, if you don't mind me saying. Statistically, I mean, I'm not going to do any Scott Steiner math, but statistically, the odds were against them anyway.
They only had a 1 in 8 chance, but the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers don't count, so that's actually a 5 in 8 chance. And 6 in 8 if you include my tag team partner. So if you 2 times 5 by 8, you get a 10 in 8 chance, which is 126%.
That was such a great classic promo.
I'd actually love if that was accurate as well. That would be great.
That would just make it all that even better.
But Dez clearly not doing any stoner math in the ring. He's just delivering cold, hard facts as he brings Nick Jackson's back to the mat.
Very aggressive and dominating Dez is at the opening of this match here. You can see some anger there in the way that he's maneuvering.
They've cut off the ring already, making sure that Matt is kept out of the equation. Nick is the sole focus.
I think that's a smart idea. Keep him in the corner, keep him away from being able to tag out. Or tag in.
Oh, Matt tags in.
There you go.
Straight back down.
Wow. Hello, goodbye. I mean, that just goes to show, I think, the mindset of Silhouettes of Redemption. Like you said, overheard them saying, no more Mr. Nice Guy. And I'm seeing that here. They've already, I feel like, had more, I don't know what the term is, but very fiercely with their approach.
Ferocity?
Thank you. Ferocity is exactly what I was thinking. You're a mind reader.
Do my best.
Yeah. Good one. That's exactly what I was
actually
thinking.
Getting a hot tag out of SOR.
Well, I was going to mention that too. They've actually done they've tagged in more frequently, much quicker into the match, right, than past matches, which is great for SOR.
I think that was more so maybe a mockery of the Young Bucks doing a hot tag there, just to mock the other team there.
gains, anything to get the match in your favor. Damn, Drek. Killing it.
Oh, Matt delivering a super kick there. Catches a clothesline, fall over a seat. Now we're going to see some more tag team action between SOR.
I love to see that. My God.
I just checked it. What can I repeat? Can I hear back what percentage I gave in that Steiner math number?
No,
I said 126. It would be 125. God.
Oh God.
What an absolute ledge.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this Scott Steiner is he's quite a character. Actually, he's the one person where I feel like in reality, if I were to meet him in real life, I might be legit worried for my own safety. Like,
I'm just surprised I got that right. That's insane.
Yeah, that's actually really good.
Oh, there's Lariat's been deadly in this match so far from Dez.
They're working, so might as well keep on doing what's working. And they've been, I mean, just right on point in that collarbone area, that top of the torso. Wow.
Dez not even caring for the pinfall there.
No.
Just delivering that powerbomb saying, Drek, you're up.
Well, that could mean a couple things. Okay. Never mind. I gotta tell you though, Silhouettes of Redemption have stayed on top of them.
Toying with the Bucks more so.
Yeah! They're toying with them a little bit. Like it's kind of like they're not taking the attempt to end the match. They're just beating the daylights out of them and having their fun, man, say doing it.
Ooh, the Kokima clutch in the middle of the ring.
Great. Absolutely. Very great submission maneuver. The Kokina clutch. Oh. I thought we were going to see another submission victory.
Matt should have known that was a mistake.
So SOR has been very consistent, regardless of if it's Matt or Nick Jackson, whoever they have in the ring. They've been very good about keeping them in the opposite corner, where Drek and Des can really easily go back and forth, be offensive, tag each other in and out, and it's worked very well for them.
Oh no, here we go. This is what I think you're expecting to see. Cardiac collision.
Yep, that's exactly what I was expecting for earlier. I thought that they were going to go for it, but to your point...
Ooh.
Oh.
They just pick up the pin and then Matt is tossed into Nick.
That's like insult to injury. Oh, you just lost it here, by the way. Here's your tag partner to land on top of you.
Yeah, lose the match. Whack.
Great outing by Silhouettes of Redemption. That was good. Very good tag team wrestling on their part.
No word to describe it other than brutal.
Definitely so. Definitely a change of pace for Silhouettes of Redemption. A more angry, pace that actually works in their favor there. It looks like they got a lot of frustration out, kicking ass and taking names.
Looks like they're on the same page with this new level of intensity.
Love to see it. I mean, that's part of what makes a great tag team, is being on that same page.
Jeez.
Very good match. Very good match.
Some brutal matchups here tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of physicality being brought.
Definitely a great show of technical and physical prowess.
I cannot expect that to stop as we head into Brian Cage versus TJC.
It's going to be a fun one. TJC's been on this path of sort of defying the status quo of what's expected out of a wrestler. And with a man of his size, TJC has been able to really kind of, you know, show the doubters that he's capable of outperforming and outpacing some of these bigger guys.
Indeed. Brian Cage got a lethal level of weaponry at his disposal. Can only imagine what they'll bring to this match. Not to mention TJC and that TJ cutter that he brings to the table.
Those cutters can be absolutely unforgiving. We've seen it before from him. Looking forward to seeing him and what he can do against Brian Cage, a man of his size. My God. This is going to be, I think, I'd have to look up the stats here, but I think this would be probably his most muscular challenge up to this point, trying to compare him to Bobby Lashley.
Of course, Eclipse not shy of a level of giants. So even those the size of Brian Cage may not even match up to some men that are as big as the Wrecker or Garrett Vera or some of the other men I've seen in the back.
You're absolutely right. There's definitely, we got every size across the gamut, if you will. You know, it's like we have the smaller competitors, even your big competitors, which man of the stature of like the Bobby Lashleys, of the Brian Cages, and then a whole nother group of people in the stratosphere.
TJC making his way to the ring. I do think that handle is actually outdated as of now. I think it's insane TJC 32, but doesn't really matter. I'm not sure how many people get followers out of this particular show, but TJC has shown to be tenacious.
I'm just looking up
taking
here.
A win against Bobby Lashley. Taking a hard-fought loss against David Wise, #1 contender to the Eclipse Championship, and now facing off with none other than Brian Cage.
Well, he might have luck here going up against Brian Cage. Just for perspective, Bobby Lashley, who he got a W over, is the same weight as Brian Cage. He's only got 2 or 3 inches on him in height, but they're basically the same. I don't know about muscle mass, because when you got 2 or 3 inches on you, but I think that bodes well, or it's a feather in his cap potentially.
Starts to give me ideas. What if we saw a King of the Mountain Battle Royal with the largest competitors on the roster?
That'd be interesting.
Very interesting indeed.
TJC trying to be aggressive there.
perhaps paying for it now.
That's the thing, is that you know, that's one thing about Brian Cage, is that you definitely don't want to be on his bad side, and it's an unfortunate thing for TJC. He gets that opportunity to control the match. I don't know how well or how long TJC is going to be able to survive.
Delivering a powerful gut punch and then another. But I wonder what they're putting in TJC's coffee.
If it's anything like the coffee that I've been drinking, it's it's good stuff.
Oh, tried to go for a lift there, pays for it. Oh, catches the leg, delivers a lariat.
Seeing a lot of those lariats
perhaps
tonight.
adopting a similar strategy to when he fought David Wise.
I mean, that was a good match. That was a good back and forth. It just happened to be that David Wise was the better competitor that night.
Indeed, TJC didn't have a technical answer for those submissions attempts. Brian Cage not as well versed in submission styling, so perhaps that won't be a catch up here tonight.
Definitely could be a much worse or much.
Oh,
God!
another lift attempt.
So far, though, TJC holding his own. Good back and forth. Question is, what is he going to have to do to be able to keep a guy like Cage down? And keep him from getting back up.
Well, trapped in a hold there.
Not exactly great ring position, though. But TJC's going to fight out of it.
Whoa, I've seen this before, the boxing combination here.
Love to see that. Fly like a, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You know what? To my point earlier, you're going to have to find a different strategy or be more consistent, TJC, to be able to keep him down, to keep a guy like Brian Cage down. So far, everything that he's been throwing at Brian Cage, he's been able to bounce back from.
I think TJC's actually might be trying to demoralize Brian Cage by just letting him swing himself out at times.
Definitely not a bad strategy at all. I mean, when you got that size difference between you, yeah, let him burn out his batteries. Smart way to go about it.
Well, another set of that boxing combination.
I think that's one of the differentiators of TJC, is that kind of hybrid, if you will, where he's doing this boxing style action cross and mixed with this wrestling style action. Cage, a bloody mess right now.
Indeed, TJC able to split him open with that boxing combination, it seems.
Hey, a couple good quick left-right jabs. That'll do it. Especially as well landed as the ones
A lot
pervade.
of this seems to be boiling down to the connection rate on those strikes. And it seems like TJC's got a significant upper hand with Brian Cage whiffing on what it should be a couple of sure strikes. Oh, TJ Cutter out of the blue.
Oh, it's always like that. Well, not always, but that was definitely out of the blue. Did not expect to see that coming.
A lot of strategy here displayed by TJC.
Able to get the job done. More power to you. Congratulations to TJC. Really showing that he's got what it takes. Stand up against the big boys.
Great. Bit of a sign of respect between the two.
Love to see that. I mean,
Well contested match.
Yes.
Definitely. Always good to see a bit of respect shown in these matchups.
Definitely a great outing by TJC. Love to see the mutual respect there issued by Brian Cage. Be interested to see TJC's next story, next match. See where he goes from there.
And going from a sign of respect to a sign of no respect, we have Cruz and Tama Tonga coming to blows finally after last week's assault.
Absolutely. There's definitely no mutual respect here. There's every reason in the world for both these individuals to be at each other's throats as we go into this next match.
Indeed. Get to see. Hopefully we can get some answers from Tama Tonga as to why he assaulted Cruz last week. Esselmania did deny any correlation between himself and the attack. That just leaves more questions than answers.
It's funny how often that tends to be the situation, but time will tell what the truth is and what's really going on and what the inspiration or motivation is for some of these actions that we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks here that's built up to where we are tonight.
Indeed, one of the greatest entrances I think we've seen here in Eclipse Pro. Always looking to come out to the biggest spectacle is Cruz.
Absolutely. I agree with you 110% there. Definitely a unique entrance. Very electrifying. People are up on their feet here in Florence, Italy.
And talking about bigger men, he does stand at 6'6". So, not short of stature himself.
6'6", that's a decent size. I mean, what, average is I think, what, 5'11"? I mean, I'm talking about just among individuals. Might be even less than that. 6'6" is big. Definitely looking forward to seeing these two tear each other apart. So is the crowd. It's so obvious there. Like you said earlier, it's built up to this moment here tonight.
Indeed, now Tama Tonga making his way to the ring. Also full of bravado. A little bit less of a light show, but nothing less than the best for the good bad guy.
Definitely both men very confident, I've noticed so far. But still beg the question, why did Tonga do what he did?
Was Tonga a legend on the New Japan circuit? Got a God, Bullet Club. Many an inspiration.
Definitely a lot of cross-pollinating there from his standpoint. I think that's not necessarily a bad thing at all. Who's going to be the better
Cruz
man?
Wasn't wearing the glasses. I'm sure you could see the fire behind the eyes anyway.
Great showcase. Go ahead.
Back and forth already. Just saying.
Yeah, I was going to say it's just already been a great showcase of skill and maneuvering between these two for just kicking off the match.
Oh, the leaping powerbomb.
Wow. Very well done. It seemed very impactful, too, the way that he landed there. It seemed that Cruz showed, a little frustration there, like he thought he had it. I think it's going to take a lot more than that, though, to keep him down.
Can only imagine the level of force that would take to put down the enforcer.
I was going to say, great technical wrestling considering the size of these guys.
Indeed. This Cruz taking after a multitude of superstars and how he wrestles. A student of the game. He knows what it means to be in a high-stakes situation. The current PWE World Champion.
That's a whole nother ball of wax right there, isn't it?
Indeed.
This has definitely not been a letdown at all, though. Cruz and Tonga really doing a good job going back and forth here. Neither one of them really predominantly carrying the match. It's just been really a good back and forth. Very resilient showing between both of them.
Indeed. Ooh.
Question is,
to a knee strike.
Oh, my God. That looked like he was out for a second, legit out for a second.
Indeed. Always a risk with a knee strike.
Those are very brutal, very hard getting hit with the shin or the knee, especially if you're not expecting it. And depending on where the blow lands, oh yeah, it could be very, very bad. Especially if it hits you right in the temple.
Oh! Tama Tonga walking right into that.
Well, can't blame him for trying.
Cruz not caring for the ref there.
That ref didn't have a chance. Wow. Really a great display, honestly, by both men, although now I'm leaning towards Cruz, to be honest with you. I mean, it's still very back and forth.
Indeed.
I mean, eventually one of these two people are going to either run out of steam and or because of that, they're going to find themselves in an unlikable situation that's going to not be reversible.
Oh, boot to the face there. At the mercy of the other competitor, basically.
Just got to wonder what's it going to take to keep one or the other down. Cruz, though, like I said, has been a good offensive drive for him here in this leg of the match, staying on top of Tonga.
It looks like Cruz has marked Tama Tonga.
Here comes the hammer.
Jesus, this is what oh! Remnant of the one and only. Jesus. Tama Tonga got it off.
Wow, I thought that was it, honestly. I mean, I agree with Cruz. From my angle, I thought it was 3.
Jesus. What's it gonna take?
I mean, again, like I said earlier, I think it's a matter of just time. One of these two competitors is going to burn out, slip up, make a mistake. That's not going to bode well for them, and it's going to change the course of the match. And that could have been it just right there.
It is a split open now and a third drop.
Yep.
Jesus. And Cruz puts down Tama.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, there was a certain point in this match. It was a great match. Congratulations to Cruz there. But very back and forth at the beginning, and then there was this drive, and Cruz was in position to continue that drive, and he did it all the way to victory there with some back and forth in between, but mostly dominated by Cruz here.
Tama is pissed off.
Yeah, I don't blame him. He's got every reason to be pissed off. The man's bloodied and beaten as he's walking away in failure.
Of course, that does only leave us with our main event of the evening. Finn Balor facing off with Alistair Fearce.
This is another match where, you know, going back to previous weeks, you know, it's really built up to this point, their interactions with one another, whether it's interfering or stepping in on a promo that they're cutting. There's no love lost here.
Indeed.
Definitely going to be one great way to kick to end tonight's action. Of course, this is the main event. But again, as you mentioned earlier, David, tomorrow is the first Eclipse Pro Wrestling pay-per-view New Moon.
Indeed. We have New Moon. All of the champions will be crowned or defended.
It's going to be a great card. It's going to be a great night of action. I'm excited for it. I thought tonight's show has been great. Looking forward to this main event here, Fearce and Finn Balor. Always been a big fan of both these men.
Indeed. The Finn Balor, the Prince, to make his way to the ring.
Always been a big fan of his theme music. I always felt that he deserved more. I know that's probably a little selfish thing to say right now, but you know, given his status elsewhere, but here in Eclipse Pro Wrestling, it's a whole nother ball of wax.
Should be a very interesting matchup. Both men wrestling a very similar style, heavily influenced by the Japanese style, which is actually why these two are cutting blows to blow.
You know, one thing I'll say about both of them is their ability to execute their styles, right? Very similar, but their ability to execute those styles, I think, could be the differentiator.
Of course, Balor representing the Japanese style and Fearce wanting to do everything he can to dismantle Balor.
Well, like I said earlier, roads lead to this point. These two have been waiting for this opportunity, and now they have it. Balor looking like, not necessarily like he's got a chip on his shoulder, but just looking like he's feeling all right. Like he's feeling like his head is in the right place mentally.
And now we have Alistair Fearce making his way to the ring.
Definitely love this entrance as well. Here we go. Would be interested to see. I don't have Fearce's statistics in front of me, but I'm just thinking of comparing him, at least in size, to Finn Balor, who's much smaller.
A lot of things about Fearce are a big, bold-faced question mark.
Very well said.
He appears and he leaves without a trace.
I mean, I guess he's really. I mean, he's small. He's small in compared to a lot of people. I will say that. I'm talking about Balor again.
Oh, indeed. Not a imposing physical threat, but the mental game of Fearce seems unmatched.
Definitely agree with you there. This is a very chilling entrance of his.
Very rarely have I seen a competitor bring this level to the industry. Very rare exceptions. The demons of the one called Slater and the Oni known as Balor.
Like you said, there's more questions than answers, but one thing is for sure, there is something very morose and, dare I say, disturbing about this man, Fearce. Pardon me. Let's light this candle. Main event time.
And Finn Balor had to do perhaps a mistake not channeling his own demons for the time.
Well, coming in guns blazing, Alistair Fearce. But I got to tell you, I mean, the size, I mean, the weight, I would say, of Balor is his advantage. Him being able to maneuver so quickly. And again, going back to what I said earlier about their ability to execute, I think that's a feather in the cap of Finn Balor with his high-risk maneuvering that he's able to so well execute because of that size. Although currently not paying off entirely. Fearce has been pretty good
More
about fighting
focus
back.
on the legs of Fearce. Perhaps he knows something that we don't.
Find an vector, find a vulnerability, or find an attack vector, create a vulnerability, and exploit it.
So maybe don't explain it to them, otherwise they might know what you're doing.
Yeah, that would be counterintuitive, wouldn't it?
Indeed. Huge splash there by Fearce.
Fearce living up to his name in this main event, really giving the business to Balor. I mean, we've seen some good maneuvering from Balor, but, I mean, Fearce has really been, for the most part, up to this point at least, been more in control. Now it looks like things might be changing, but how long will that last?
Not very long at all.
What's working for Fearce works for Fearce, as long as he keeps doing what he's doing there. But again, Balor, I'm not going to put anything past him because the man's capable of coming in the 11th hour and upsetting you, doing some kind of move to outpace you. Nice show of force there by Balor. What I was looking for was a drive from Balor.
Indeed. Oh, driven head first into...
That is brutal. Nothing short of brutality. I would expect nothing less.
What's Fearce got in mind here? Fearce has got Balor on the top rope. Oh no.
Here we go.
Oh. Spanish fly from the top rope. And that is all that was written.
What a way to close that up for Fearce to get the W over Balor. Great end, great finisher there.
I'm in awe. Fearce dominated for the most part there.
Well, Fearce gets...
Delivering that Hurricane Rana.
Right.
Spiking him into the mat. And then that top rope Spanish fly.
Great outing by Fearce. We saw a good series of drives from both men. But you know, Fearce doing what he was doing and being able to just stay on top of him and get the W in the end. Great way to get it too.
I wonder what this means for Fearce in the future.
What's next on his plate? What is ahead of him, right? Time will tell. I'd be interested to see it.
Indeed, that concludes us for tonight here at Eclipse Pro Wrestling. I've been David Scheller. Any last comments from Steven Anderson?
I want to thank everybody for joining, and remember, tune in tomorrow night for New Moon, the first Eclipse Pro Wrestling pay-per-view.
Indeed, New Moon broadcasting tomorrow night, 8 PM EST, 7 Central, and midday Australian Eastern Standard. So, we'll see you then. Until then, I've been David Schaller.
I have been Steven Anderson.
And for Eclipse Pro Wrestling, that is all. Good night.